Today I wanted to talk to you about the 3 questions you can ask to discover your own superpower. I personally interviewed probably hundreds of entrepreneurs. And in doing that and having all those conversations, something really interesting kept popping up. It was this amazing sense that I could see who some people were meant to be. I could see, no matter where you put them or how they chose to apply themselves in the world, they were going to show up in a specific way. And over time, what I saw was we all have this. We all have this intensely unique, different way of being that is this manifestation of us. And when we can understand that, when we get a grasp of what our personal superpower is and the value that that creates in the world, we're literally unstoppable. The first question is, when you were younger, what did you do that annoyed everyone? I'll give you an example here. My favorite question to ask, and it has been since I was little, is why? So when a client says to me, I can't work out, I don't have time to send out my invoices, I can't talk to my partner in a way that helps me communicate what I need from him or her. And my question is always why? Because if we can understand the root why of that belief, of that assumption, we can change it. The funny thing is that when I asked that question, I annoyed the heck out of my family and my teachers and the people around me. That is something that I did that annoyed everyone. I asked the question why, but that question truly is me being me, because I'm intensely curious and I want to understand. I have asked this of my clients and I always love the answer, because the funny thing is they usually light up when they tell me. They're usually like, oh yeah, I always annoyed people because I did this, or I always annoyed people because I did that. And the truth is, the reason they're lighting up is because that they were being who they were as children. And there was joy and delight and wonderfulness in all of that. And so I want you to reconnect with that. I want you to reconnect with who you were before anyone told you you shouldn't be that person. So I am asking you to consider, what is the thing that you did that annoyed everyone when you were younger? Question 2 is, what do you do that when you're done doing it, people look at you and say, wow, how did you do that? And your response to that is, do what? And the reason that that scenario is so important is because it helps you see you at your most natural. It's so natural for you that you don't even realize you're doing it. You don't even recognize the value it creates or the disruption it creates. And remember, disruption is valuable, right? So I want you to think about, what is something that you do? When you do it, people are amazed or surprised, and you don't even know what they're talking about. One of the things that I have done like that is that I will listen to people talk. I'll listen to people talk about their businesses, talk about their lives, talk about what's happening for themselves, talk about what they're thinking. And as all of this is happening, it's almost like someone is stitching something inside of my head, and I repeat something back to them as how I understand what they're saying to me, and it sums it up, and they look at me and they say, oh my gosh, that's it. How did you know that? How did you do that? And I just, what do you mean? I just listened to what you said and I gave it back to you. But the gift is in the giving back, right? The way I hear and the way I'm able to give it back to somebody turns it into something useful for them. And I never even recognized that there was value in that. But there is, especially if you're coaching businesses and business leaders and individuals in trying to achieve things they've never achieved before. They need to be able to hear themselves in a different way. And so that is a gift. So I want you to think about that. I want you to consider, what is it that you do that's so natural to you that you don't even recognize it? Now, the other thing I want you to consider about this is two things. We don't think it's valuable because we too assume that everyone else does it. We don't even recognize that it's unique because it's so inherent to who we are. We literally assume that this is just how everyone thinks and what everyone does. But it truly is your unique gift. So the third question is, how do I show up no matter what? And the reason this question is so important is it gives you an understanding of how you approach the world. And again, we assume as human beings, we're naturally self-centered individuals. We assume that the way we see the world, the way we approach the world, what we give to the world, how we think, how we are, is the way everyone is. And that's not true. That's why we talk about creating your wildly personal definition of success, because your definition of success has to be unique to you in order to light you up and fire you up to go make it happen. How I show up is going to be very different than how any of you are showing up. For me, I'm always exploring. I want to understand. I want to explore, wander through everything that's happening so that I get a sense of space. So this is really important for you, because when you get an understanding of how you show up in the world and you recognize that, you get to see the value in that. And I don't know about you, but so often in the world, we go out into the world and we don't always get a good sense of ourselves when we come back, right? The world tells us we're too tall, we're too thin, we're too fat, we're too skinny, we're too pretty, we're not pretty enough, we're attractive. They tell us we're not smart enough, we're too smart. They tell us, who do you think you are? And what do you think you're doing? The world responds to us in so many ways that make us hide from them, from the rest of the world, and then unfortunately we tend to hide from ourselves. So these three questions are meant to connect you with who you were before anyone told you there was anything wrong with it. They're meant to help you see the value of how you see the world and what you do, and the value that creates that only you can deliver. And they help you see how you approach the world and what that means and the value of that. So you, in exploring these three questions for yourself, are going to start to get a sense of you and the value you create simply by being who you are. So I challenge you to ask yourself these three questions. You can journal it, write it down, speak it. One of the things that is really helpful is actually recording yourself answering these three questions. You can ask others that you trust and love, who will reflect back to you maybe what they can see, and that can be really beneficial. Sometimes that's what we do for our clients, right? We ask them these questions, and then we reflect back to them what they may not be able to see themselves. So if you can find someone in your life who can do that for you, that can be incredibly enlightening. But that's what today is all about. It is about understanding your superpower, understanding the unique gifts that you bring to the world simply by being yourself. And I hope that you get better connected with who you are. I hope that you see the value that you bring to the world, and I want you to share it. I want you to drop it in the comment section. I want you to tell all of us who you are and how you connected with you. And if you like what we're doing here, give us a thumbs up. If you like what we're doing here at Love Plus Business, go ahead and subscribe. The subscribe button is in the bottom left-hand corner. And as always, if you know someone in your life who you think will benefit from this video, from this message, from the stories we're telling here, then please share it. Please share it with somebody else, because so many of us need that support and love and recognition. And go be your best self. We look forward to seeing you next time.